Hi, thank you for tuning in today to TV2 for Front Porch Conversations here at the Copeland Community Center. And I have as our guest today on the porch, Bonnie Olson. Bonnie, welcome. We're so glad you could be with us.
Thank you.
And would you tell us where you live and when you arrived?
I came here in January of this year, and I live in Carter House.
And you're already getting involved in different things on campus.
Yes.
I've met you in different places.
Yeah. Part of it is the community garden. I love the gardens. I have a garden spot and growing lots of things. You plant something and it leaps out of the ground here. So
It really does.
yeah.
And that's a little different from where you were born and grew up and gardening, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Wyoming, and it's very cold there. So yeah, it's a lot different here. We had a saying in Wyoming that if the corn was knee-high by the 4th of July, that you would actually get corn. Oh. And our corn at the community garden is already over my head.
And it's not even the 4th of June yet.
Exactly. Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about growing up in Wyoming. Share that with us if you would.
I grew up in a town of about 8,000 people. I was in Riverton, Wyoming, and it was a great place to grow up at. Small town. It was so safe. We rode our bicycles all over town, and it was a different time. We never locked doors, never locked car doors, had our windows rolled down in the car at the grocery store parking lot. It was really a good place to grow up. And it's a rural sort of feel there also. Riverton is high plains desert, so it's surrounded by farms and cattle ranches. And I was a city kid, so to speak, and other kids were living out on the farms and had to be bused into school, kind of thing. But it's very cold and snowy there, so I'm happy to be here in this warm climate.
Did you attend school all the way in Wyoming, all the way through school?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what took you away from there?
Well, I actually went to Casper College, which is another city close to Riverton, and got my nursing degree right out of high school. And then decided to move to Vancouver, Washington, and go back to school. And so I lived in Washington State for a whole lot of years. And later on, then went to acupuncture school and got a degree in Chinese medicine and acupuncture.
I understand you have a son.
I do. Yeah.
And you want to share a little bit about him?
Yeah, my son is a business consultant in international trade. He travels all over the world and kind of got me traveling. In 2006, we went to Thailand together, spent a month in Thailand, and that was an incredible trip. We also went to India at that time too. And then he met and married a young woman from the little tiny island country of Mauritius. And so she was Mauritian, and he has 2 children there. So I went and lived in Mauritius.
And when you told me that, where is that? So will you tell our viewers that too?
Yeah, it's a little tiny island country in the South Indian Ocean. It's 4,000 miles off the southeast coast of Johannesburg, South Africa. And It's about 16,000 miles away from here.
Is that all?
Yeah.
And in other ways, how different is it from here?
Oh my gosh, it's a foreign country. It was a British colony, and the British left, and it became an independent nation. Before it was British, it was French, and so French is the common language. English is the official language, but it's a melting pot for people from all over the world, and French is common, Creole is common. It's a different way of thinking. It's kind of a developing nation. Mm-hmm. It's not really third world, but it's a blend of old and new. There's lots of new construction there, modern skyscrapers, modern cities, and very kind of old way villages. So it's a really interesting blend of cultures.
I believe you described it as the most diverse place you ever lived.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly diverse. Yeah, I found a church that I went to there, and there were about 20 different nationalities represented at that church. And everybody came there because they spoke English. A lot of churches there are not English speaking. So to be able to find an English speaking church. Mm-hmm.
It's also very culturally diverse as well.
Oh yeah.
Or religiously diverse, maybe.
Yeah, both. There's a lot of people who immigrated to Mauritius from India in the 1800s, which is what my daughter-in-law's family immigrated from India. And so they've kind of kept their Indian traditions, their Indian dress. You could go to the grocery store and the women are dressed in these beautiful, colorful saris. Just amazing to see, for me, to see that, you know, and the long, flowing, beautiful headscarves and scarves, and amazing. And then also a lot of Muslim there. And same thing, you can go to the grocery store and see women who are in their burqas, and they're covered from head to toe, and all you can see is their eyes. So it's very different. And I even saw women who were swimming in their burqas.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know how they did that, because it seems like it would just, you know, be a lot of water weight to be swimming in that.
And it looks like they're always a heavy fabric too.
Yeah, the fabric wasn't really so heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were really close to shore. They were only about 6 feet offshore. Yeah.
Well, you've shared a lot of experiences that probably most of us have never had already, so I can't wait to hear more. How long did you live there?
I was there a little over 2 years. I went in November of 2018, and then came to the village in January this year, 2021. So,
you were employed while you were there. Would you talk about that?
I worked at a clinic there doing acupuncture, and it was a clinic that was a health and wellness. I call it a clinic, but it was really a hospital where people come and stay, mm-hmm. and kind of alternative healthcare minded. It was founded by an MD, and I worked with 4 other MDs there, and myself, and massage therapist, someone who did Reiki and yoga. Mm-hmm. And we had people who came from all over the world to come there for treatment. which in itself for me was an incredible experience. And I treated some Muslim women, which was really fun for me to have that experience. There were times when I had to have one of the nurses come and translate for me because they weren't always English speaking. So, yeah, it was an incredible experience.
And you were talking to me earlier about somebody has a birthday tomorrow there.
Oh, my grandson, my oldest grandson, will be 11 on June 4th. So it's very exciting. And I am still in contact with them, of course. I'm so grateful for technology that I get to talk to him and talk to him face to face. Yeah.
And he has a sibling as well?
Yeah. A younger sister. So.
And I think they're going to watch you on YouTube at some point. So I wanted to be sure we talked about both of them.
Yes, and my daughter-in-law and all of her family. So I wonder if I should say my grandkids' names because they're foreign names. They're kind of interesting.
They are. Would you do that?
Yeah. So my grandson's name is Nrisimha, and my granddaughter's name is Ladini.
And I'm glad you pronounced them. At what point did you decide you were ready to return to the United States? And how did you come to find us?
I decided it was time to come back to the U.S. Healthcare in Mauritius is not at the same level as it is here. And as I'm aging, I needed to have some health care. And so I decided I needed to come back, and I did a Google search of Christian retirement communities in the southern half of the U.S. I did not want to go back to cold country Wyoming. I still have 2 sisters who live there and lots of nieces and nephews and cousins. And anyway, so I found Advent Christian Village on a Google search and looked at their website and went, wow, this place sounds too good to be true. And my brother lives in Denver, so I had him looking, and he said the same thing. He was like, man, this place sounds too good to be true. And we both kept looking, and I filled out an application to come here, and then I would do Google Earth and look at Google Earth and walk down the streets, and man, it's been an amazing experience to come here. I came directly from Mauritius to get here, and I love this setting. I mean, just as we're sitting here doing this filming, I'm looking out at these beautiful trees out here, and how gorgeous it is. So.
And having some birds singing, and I think a rooster has got his time clock off. I heard him a minute ago. As you were saying, your brother lives in Denver. You also lived in Denver, the Colorado area.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, I didn't live there very long, but still have family there, and look forward to going and seeing them at some point, but having my family come here mostly to visit.
Was there anything that surprised you about the village when you got here?
The amount of undeveloped property, the amazing trees that are here. It is stunningly gorgeous. I had never been in this part of Florida before, and I am just astonished, really, at the trails that go through the forest property. It's just great. The community garden surprised me. I did not see that on the website at all, and the people who have developed that garden and maintained it have got something really special going on there. I have never seen a garden so beautiful, so amazing, and the spirit of people to help us here. Everybody willing to pitch in and help. Another thing I think that was fun for me, maybe not surprised me, but fun for me when I got here, was to go to the village church and meet the pastors, because I had been following them on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And so that was a real sort of selling point for me to come here also, is that I knew I could fit here. I watched the church services and followed them and went, wow, I could fit there. So it was very fun when I actually got to meet them and say, gee, I've been watching you from a very long ways away. Yeah.
And a number of people that we've had a front porch conversation together who've moved in the last year have said that that was between the front porch conversations, the other things on the website, the village church. It was a wonderful, then they might not have taken the time to do all that had they just come for a tour and, you know, said yes or no and gone on, you know.
And I came sight unseen. I wasn't going to travel about 40 hours of travel time to get here to come for a visit. I made the decision that I was coming, and so here I am. Yeah.
Would you share with us a little bit about your nursing career and the various stages of it?
Well, I worked as a nurse for about 10 years, and kind of became a little bit disillusioned with drugs and surgery, and so I walked away from nursing and went and worked as a financial planner for a while, and then I married a man who had a business, and we did business phone systems, and then I decided to go back to school and get a degree in acupuncture. And so my heart has always been kind of natural healthcare and alternative healthcare minded.
Have you thought about other ways you'd like to volunteer here at the village, or things you'd like to become involved in?
I'm kind of taking some time and getting my feet underneath me.
And I think that's a good plan for everybody.
Yeah. I was working until January when I left Mauritius, and I've thought about going back to work here as an acupuncturist, because I love acupuncture, but I'm not sure that I'm really ready to do that. I love volunteering at the garden and helping out in the garden. I also enjoy just helping other people around the village. There's some people who need a little bit more assistance getting about and getting to church. So that's been something that I've enjoyed doing.
And I understand you're taking a class through the church as well?
Oh gosh, I love the Bible studies that are available here. Oh my goodness, I want to take advantage of all of the Bible studies. And so, yeah, I'm taking the Acts class, which is amazing. And then a Bible study on Tuesday morning and a Bible study on Friday morning, and the Bible study after church on Sunday. So it's like, man, to have the wealth of knowledge of these incredible teachers here, I do want to take advantage of it.
How would you describe your faith journey?
That's a really good question. I was born and raised in a Lutheran church, And so I grew up in a Lutheran church, and have always had kind of a faith relationship with Christ. But for a long time, I think that I was sort of a Sunday-only Christian. And when I was in Mauritius, we went through a really incredibly tight lockdown. It makes the lockdown here look really easy and really minor. We weren't allowed out of our own yards. We could go out of our house, but we had to stay in our own yards. And so I spent a lot of time alone. There were days on end when I wouldn't see another person. And I spent a lot of time reading the Word and went, oh my gosh, this is it. There's a spark that got lit, I think, by the more I read, the more I want to read. The more I know, the more I want to know. And so to be able to be here and take advantage of the Bible study teachers, it's just incredible. So that's a big part of being here. Mm-hmm.
And I think it is for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a time in life where maybe some people don't think about it being such a growth place in your faith, but I've seen it happen a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like now I'm not working, I'm not raising kids. I have time to really put in to studying, and I've changed just in the last few years. So, yeah.
Do you have a bucket list of things you're looking forward to do?
I do not really. I kind of think I did them. You know, living in Mauritius for over 2 years, that was a big adventure. And my son and his wife had moved to Thailand when my grandson was only 6 months old. And so I actually went and lived with them for a year in Thailand also. And that was a pretty big adventure. So I feel pretty content to just hang out here in the village and enjoy this incredible property that we have. Walking these trails, so gorgeous, and meeting people. I mean, it's really fun for me to meet people from all over, ask them where they have been, hear the missionary stories. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, the places these missionaries have lived and the things that they have done, it's just phenomenal.
It's an education in itself.
Yes, it is. It really is. Mm-hmm.
If you were asked to give a young person some advice today, what would you tell them?
Don't ever walk away from the Lord. It's like, I think so many young people do kind of go try out the world and then maybe come back, but don't even go out there and try. Stay close to the Lord always. Mm-hmm.
Bonnie, would you show the camera a picture of the island you lived on from the front of your book here? That
I brought a book that a friend gave me when I was leaving Mauritius.
Erase it a little.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, she gave this book to me as a going away gift. And so there's a picture of Mauritius, but it's a tourist destination for all of Europe. It's got the most stunning beaches. The island is circled by resort hotels, and you can drive the perimeter of the island, and every curve that you go around, you get a new view, and oh my gosh, you're driving along going,
Oh, that's more beautiful.
and it truly is. The island is only 20 miles wide and 40 miles long. There's 1.6 million people who live on this island, and they're stacked in cities. It's dense cities. You drive out of the city and you're in sugarcane fields. It's so incredible. And there's mountains and hills and hiking, snorkeling is
Oh, I can only imagine what that would be like.
fabulous, incredible. Gosh, yeah, the marine life there. So,
Well, I wouldn't suggest snorkeling in the Swanee River, maybe, but there is marine life out there.
well, the water in Mauritius makes the water in the Swanee River look a little dirty. The water in Mauritius was like bath water. It was so crystal clear. You could see forever. Snorkeling was it for me. I did that probably twice a week. I'd go snorkeling. Yeah.
Well, I bet we'll want to have other people have a tour of your island at some point. And
Yeah.
I think that our film crew here is plotting how to make a travel video out of your pictures.
Yeah, I've only got about 1 million pictures to share, so that would be fun. One of the really cool experiences that I had there was going to, I went to 5 different weddings when I was there, and one of them was my daughter-in-law's sister and her husband. And it was just the most incredible experience. I loved every minute of that wedding. It was a 5-day long event, and every day the bride was dressed in something different. Oh my gosh, that was really fun.
Well, I bet we'll get to see some of that in your travel log, right?
Yes, yes.
Bonnie, thank you so much for sitting down and visiting with me here on the porch.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here and to be able to do that. I got kind of hot here, so I might look like I'm melting.
Your cheeks are a little rosier. Thank you so much for tuning in at Front Porch Conversations. Look forward to seeing us another time, I hope.